Hey everyone, this is Flux. I'm going to be going over the Larry Slide LCB strats for 100%. This is a relatively new strat. It's fairly difficult, but once you have a good setup, it's not too bad. It can be made consistent. It does take a lot of practice, but I'm going to kind of go over the basics, just kind of what you need to know to do this trick, and hopefully make it consistent. So the first thing, you enter Larry's slide, you're going to mash A to accept Larry's time challenge, and you're going to come over here. So this is kind of how I like to do my setup. There are like different ways to do it, but this is the angle that I've found to be the most consistent. If you can see, I'm kind of lining up this right side of SpongeBob with like this kind of dark purple splotch right here. Oh, well, yeah. You can kind of see what I'm... Just try to like match your setup to look like mine. Then what I do is I just do a quick jump spin and hold up left to get up just right up here, just barely on the ledge. And then this is just like the Flounder Hill Cruise Boost, or LCB, for those who have learned that. You're just going to do one cruise boost with neutral stick input. Then on the second one, you're going to hold right and try to do one, not as fast as possible, but like very quickly after the first one. So ideally, you'll notice if you do it correctly, you'll get a cruise boost as SpongeBob is sliding off. To get a really good cruise LCB speed, you want SpongeBob to just slide down a tiny bit. If he slides down too far, you're probably not going to get a good speed, so I'll try to get a good one. Okay. Okay, like he kind of fell down kind of far there, so this one's good enough, so I'll go with it for now, but ideally you can actually get one even faster than this. So if you're new to this, I kind of recommend doing the timer stop. Just because if you get down to the ice pillar and you miss the bash a bunch, you can keep trying it without failing the time challenge. As you get more consistent with it, you can stop doing the timer stop. But it only costs a few extra seconds to do, and it like prevents some like a really major time loss from failing the time challenge. So all you have to do is kind of come over to the left, then you're going to go to the right, talk to him once, press A. And then once you're on the slide and the timer starts, press A again. So,
I'm the fastest there.
So yeah, pretty easy. So most of the slide movement's pretty straightforward. You can kind of just copy what other people do. I'm just gonna go over the ice pillar bash part because that's the part that most people are gonna struggle with. So coming up on this trampoline bounce, you want to pay attention to kind of how fast you're actually going here. Okay, so that one like just barely made it onto the platform. So that's kind of how you can tell I have a relatively slow one. With a faster one, you'll land kind of more in the middle of the platform. You want to pay attention to that because how fast your LCB is actually going to affect your setup on the ice pillar bash just a little bit. So anyway, hit this button, very important, or else you won't be able to get the third sock. Jump over here and get kind of stuck on this thing. So there are basically three parts to this setup, and I'm going to try to simplify them as much as possible. So I'm going to assume you've all seen this trick done, so you know it's a bash, slam onto the slide, then you slide over, do another bash slam to get up to the ice pillar. So there's some pretty straightforward visual cues you can use. So what I do is for a slower speed like this, when you do the bash, you're going to want to slide off the pillar pretty quickly. So what I mean by that is like as I do the bash, I'm going to hold to the left, or like right after I start the bash, I'm going to hold to the left to slide off the pillar and go up to the slide. With a really fast one, you kind of want to hang on and wait till the peak of... Oh, whoops. With a really fast one, you kind of want to hang on to the pillar until you're at the peak of your bash, and then slam to get down, or to... and then slide off the pillar as you're starting the slam, basically. So yeah, this also shows the backup if you fall. You can just get back up this way. It's not too difficult. So yeah, we'll want to get over here. So for this one, it's pretty slow LCB, so I'm going to slide off the pillar right at the start of my bash. The second part of this setup is your slam positioning on the slide. So this is, in my opinion, the hardest and most important part of the setup. But if you get this part down, then the rest is pretty easy, in my opinion. So on the slide, you'll notice there's like the sandy part in the middle, and there's kind of that like bluish outline. What you're aiming for with your slam is you want the middle of Bob's feet to land right on the inside of that outer line. So you don't want to land like right on the very edge of the slide. You want to land just a tiny bit inside, so that the middle of Bob's feet are like right in line with that line. So yeah, and then once you slam on the slide, as soon as you land, start holding hard to the left. With faster LCBs, you want to hold more up left, but with a slow one like this, you're just going to hold straight left to get to the other side of the slide as possible. Then you're going to just mash bash. And if you do it right, you should get the bash without as soon as you get off the slide without losing too much height, and you'll be in a good spot to make it onto the ice pillar. So I'll go ahead and do this to kind of show how it works, and then I'll go back and do it a few more times so you can kind of start to visualize how I do my setup. Okay, well that was bad. I was kind of thrown off because coming right from a pause, so I'm gonna run back and try it again. It's a lot easier to do kind of as one fluid motion. And again, you can kind of see how the backup I'm using if I fall to get back here. With the timer stop, you can do this however many times you want. Without the timer stop, you can usually afford to miss this like maybe once. But if you miss it twice, you're kind of in danger of missing the time challenge. And just like that. So yeah, I'll go ahead and do that a couple more times. So again, the most important thing, pay attention to when I'm sliding off the pillar, where I'm landing with my slam. Look at like where Bob's feet are landing on the slide. And then after I land with that slam, I'm holding straight to the left. Not like left and a little up, but literally straight to the left. I would recommend using the D-pad, but it's kind of awkward since your thumb's already on the left stick. Oh, okay, that was a that was a one-frame bash actually. You'll get those sometimes, and those are nice because they work even if you're still on the slide and haven't slid off, and also they get you more speed, so they're a little faster. Yep, just like that. So as you can see, it's a really consistent setup. It takes a little while to get down, and in my opinion, landing on the slide in the right spot with your slam is kind of the hardest part. But if you sit down, like really grind this, like you can get it down. And it's like, in my opinion, the rest of the setup's like pretty straightforward. So again, the only difference if you have I'll try to get a faster LCB to kind of demonstrate the difference. So I'll go ahead and talk to him just so I can do the timer stop again. So in case it was kind of hard to see down there, what I mean by this blue outline is like kind of, so I'm sure you can see what I'm talking about, but yeah, the slam on the slide, you want Bob's feet to be lined up right with kind of like that black part where it turns from the outline into the main slide. So you want to line up Bob's feet just with that, like when you're slamming on the slide. So yeah, I'll try to get a fast one. Okay, this is a good one. So yeah, so this is gonna be a, well, yeah, this one's good enough.
I'm the fastest.
So yeah, I'm just gonna show you kind of what the setup for the jump looks with a kind of faster LCB. the spot you're landing on the slide is going to be the same, just that like line on the in between the outline and the main slide. Okay, so you can see I landed more in the middle there. That's how you can kind of tell this is a faster one. So the only differences are going to be you're going to hold onto the ice pillar longer on your bash, and then once you get on the slide, you want to hold more up left as opposed to straight to the left. So yeah, it should look something like this. And just like that. So really any LCB speed you get should work with one of these two setups, and for speeds kind of more in the middle, you can probably get away with either one. But yeah, you kind of just got to play around with it, see what works for what LCB speed. I will say for very, very slow ones that like just barely make the trampoline jump, you'll want to slide off you'll want to slide off the pillar like pretty much as your bash is starting or even a little before. And then you might actually want to land a little more inside, a little more to the left. But that's for like very, very slow ones, where I'm saying the land should work with most LCB speeds. Just like that. So yeah, it's tricky at first, pretty frustrating to get down, but like with practice, it's not too bad. It can be made consistent. One last thing I want to go over. So in a run, when you get an LCB, sometimes you're going to get one that's too slow to actually do the jumps. And a way to tell, so kind of the way I tell, okay, this one's good enough, but what you want to do is kind of try to do a moonwalk. Obviously, you won't be able to because you're too fast, but the idea is pay attention to how fast SpongeBob moves forward as you're doing this moonwalk. If he's moving forward at like faster than his normal walking speed, then your LCB is fast enough. If he's moving forward at like his walking speed or slower, then you're either too slow or like very, very borderline. So I would not recommend going with one of those in a run. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. If you have any questions on this, feel free to post in the comments or DM me in Discord or just post in the Discord. I've got links to the Discord down in the description, so be sure to check that out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.